Okay, so you want to own a duplex or a triplex. Here's the version that gets people's attention. You buy one building with two or three separate units inside it. You move into one unit yourself. Your tenants in the other units pay rent that covers most, sometimes all of your entire mortgage payment. You end up living for free, or close to it, in a house you're simultaneously building equity in, while somebody else's rent check quietly pays off your loan. It's not renting. It's not quite owning a normal rental property either. It's something in between, and it might be the single most underrated wealth building move available to an ordinary person with a regular job. It sounds almost like a loophole, using the same government-backed loan programs designed for a first-time home buyer to essentially buy your first rental property at the exact same low down payment and interest rate a regular home buyer gets. And functionally, that's exactly what it is. This strategy has a name in the personal finance world, house hacking, and it's quietly become one of the most repeated pieces of advice from real estate investors who started with almost nothing, because it solves the single biggest problem facing every new investor. Where do you get the money for a down payment on your first rental property when you don't have much money at all? So naturally, you assume a duplex is basically just two houses stuck together. Buy it, rent out the other half, collect the difference. But here's what actually happens once you dig into the financing rules, the tenant dynamics, and the exit strategy that make this specific type of property behave completely differently from either a single-family rental or a full-blown apartment building. By the end of this, you will know exactly why lenders treat a 2 to 4 unit property so differently from anything larger, what actually happens the day you decide to move out, and why living next door to your own tenant is either the smartest decision or the most stressful decision a new investor can make, depending entirely on how you set it up. People assume that buying a small multi-unit property requires the same kind of commercial financing and large down payment that a bigger apartment building needs. It is not really, and this is the single most important fact in this entire video. Properties with 2, 3, or 4 units are legally classified as residential real estate, not commercial, as long as you're buying up to 4 units total. That one classification changes everything about how you can finance it. Think of it like a secret door between the world of regular home buying and the world of real estate investing. A door that closes permanently the moment you go from 4 units to 5. Buy a 5th unit or a separate 5-unit building, and you're suddenly in commercial lending territory, facing higher down payments, shorter loan terms, and lending decisions based on the building's income instead of your own. This residential classification is exactly why house hacking works. If you move into one of the units yourself as your primary residence, you can use the same low down payment loan programs available to any regular home buyer, conventional loans requiring as little as 3 to 5% down, or an FHA loan requiring as little as 3.5% down, even on a building with up to 4 units. Compare that to a traditional investment property purchase, where lenders typically require 20 to 25% down because they consider rental properties a higher risk than a primary residence. On a $400,000 duplex, that's the difference between needing roughly $14,000 down through an FHA loan versus needing $80,000 to $100,000 down through a standard investment property loan. For most people just starting out, that gap is the entire difference between being able to buy real estate at all and not. There's an even more powerful detail buried inside this that most people never hear about until they're deep into the process. Many lenders will let you count a meaningful percentage of the projected rental income from the other units toward qualifying for the loan in the first place. Sometimes 75% of the market rent the other units are expected to generate. That means the rental income from your future tenants can actually help you qualify for a bigger loan than your personal income alone would support, essentially letting your future tenants help you buy the building before they've even moved in. Now let's talk about what actually happens with the numbers once you own it, because this is where the real appeal of house hacking becomes clear. Say you buy a triplex for $450,000, put 5% down through a conventional loan, and your total monthly payment including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance comes out to roughly $3,200. You move into one unit, and the other 2 units rent for $1,100 each, $2,200 combined. That rental income covers nearly 70% of your entire housing payment, meaning your actual out-of-pocket cost to live there drops to around $1,000 a month, often dramatically less than what you'd pay renting a comparable apartment on your own in the same neighborhood, while simultaneously building equity in an asset you own outright. This is fundamentally different math than either a single-family rental or a full apartment complex, because you're not really optimizing for maximum cash flow the way a pure investor would. You're optimizing for minimum personal housing cost, while a real, appreciating asset builds equity underneath you. The trade-off is real too, and it's the part almost nobody mentions in the excited version of this story. You live next door to your tenants. Every late night noise complaint, every maintenance request, every awkward hallway interaction happens in your own home, not at a property 20 minutes away that you can drive to and then leave. Tenant screening becomes personally important in an entirely different way because a difficult tenant in a duplex you don't live in is an inconvenience, but a difficult tenant in the unit next to where you sleep every night is a genuine quality of life issue. The exit strategy is where this gets genuinely clever, and it's the reason experienced investors specifically recommend this as a repeatable strategy rather than a one-time trick. After living in the property for a period, most lenders require, typically at least 1 year, you're free to move out and rent out your former unit too, turning the entire building into a fully rented investment property while keeping that same low down payment loan you originally qualified for as an owner-occupant. Then in theory, you do it again, buy a second small multi-unit property, move in, house hack it the same way, and after another year, move out and repeat. Investors who run this playbook 2, 3, 4 times in a row can build a meaningful portfolio of properties using a fraction of the capital a traditional cash flow investor would need for the same number of doors, because every single purchase used owner-occupant financing terms instead of investor financing terms. There's a tax angle worth understanding too, and it's another reason this strategy gets recommended so consistently. Even though you're living in part of the building, the portion you rent out still qualifies for many of the same tax benefits a pure rental property gets, including depreciation on that rented portion and the ability to deduct a proportional share of expenses like repairs, insurance, and property management if you ever hire it out. Essentially, the IRS treats your duplex as 2 separate assets stacked under one roof, your personal residence on one side of the ledger, and a legitimate rental business on the other, letting you capture tax advantages that a renter living in a comparable apartment down the street simply has no access to at all. Now let's put real numbers next to 2 very different duplex buyers. In the good scenario, a buyer purchases a duplex for $380,000 using an FHA loan with 3.5% down, about $13,300 out of pocket. They move into one unit and rent the other for $1,400 a month, which covers roughly 60% of their total mortgage payment. After 18 months, having built solid rental history and equity through both loan paydown and modest appreciation, they move out, rent their old unit for a comparable amount, and the property now cash flows on its own while they use their improved savings and credit profile to hack a second property. Within 3 to 4 years, that one initial $13,000 investment has effectively launched a small portfolio, something that would have taken most single-family rental investors far longer to accumulate the capital for. In the realistic, harder scenario, a buyer purchases a similar duplex but underestimates how much personal friction comes with being both landlord and neighbor. Their tenant falls behind on rent, and because the buyer lives right next door, addressing it feels uncomfortable and personal rather than businesslike, leading to months of delayed action and lost rent that a more distant landlord would have handled through a formal notice process immediately. On top of that, a shared roof issue requiring $20,000 in repairs comes up in year 2, an expense that falls entirely on the owner, since tenants in a small multi-unit building typically aren't responsible for structural repairs the way a commercial tenant might be under a triple net lease. The math that looked so favorable on paper gets squeezed from both directions. Less rental income than projected, and an unplanned repair bill, turning what should have been a low-cost living situation into a genuinely stressful financial stretch. The zoom-out truth about duplexes and triplexes is this. The real advantage here isn't the rental income itself. Plenty of properties generate rental income. The real advantage is the financing loophole, using owner-occupant terms to acquire an asset that behaves like an investment property at a down payment and interest rate a pure investor could never access. The investors who use this strategy successfully treat the first year of living there as a deliberate, temporary phase of a bigger plan, not a permanent lifestyle, and they screen tenants and set boundaries just as professionally as they would if they lived 20 miles away. Because comfort with a tenant's presence next door is not the same thing as being lenient about rent being paid on time. There's a version of real estate that takes this exact same multi-unit concept and scales it up to a size no individual buyer could ever personally finance or manage alone, where instead of one owner living in one unit, dozens of investors pool their money together, and one person runs the entire operation on everyone's behalf. That's exactly where we're headed next, into the economics of being an apartment syndicator.